Shubh is from IIM Indore. Hi Shubh, तू बहुत मुझे लग रहा है बहुत मेहनत कर रहा है तेरे कल के क्विज के लिए. I can see you've been working really hard on your quiz. मैंने इसको बोला आई फ्री लाइक सर फ्री हूं मैं आ जाऊंगा मेरा कल क्विज है बहुत टेंशन में बहुत कुछ पढ़ना है क्विज के लिए. ठीक है cool. Yeah, welcome on board यार. So kids are waiting for you guys and they really want to know D-Day के पहले क्या करना है. वो जो रात होती है जो जल्दी नहीं कटती है by the way. So what to do there and what was your strategy on D-Day. So Simran, she's from FMS. She already started off. Keval is from Ahmedabad. You know him, Simran as well. So what's your 2 cents on these things? Like what did you do a day before D-Day?
So सच बता दो क्या?
हाँ सच बता दे.
So I think 3 days before CAT का exam, I was like, I'm not going to study anymore. Nice. Because I thought that I had done everything on my part, and now everything's like जो paper में आएगा, I know what I have done. अगर हुआ तो हुआ, नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ. So that was my strategy. So for the last 3 days, I chilled out, watched favorite movies, series, shows, जो करना था करा. I took like 12 hours sleep daily because I knew कि कुछ नहीं है और करने में. So I used to do that, and I just knew that Sunday को exam था. So on Saturday night, I slept early. I slept at like 11:30. Woke up at 7:38 because I had the first slot, and I knew the center is very close to me, so I wouldn't have to rush. So I had my formula sheet with me. I just knew I had to go through this, and I reached the center. I saw people were getting very anxious, and they were like, "ये पढ़ना है, वो पढ़ना है." You could see like they were perspirating and everything, and I was just like, "हाँ मुझे बता दो कहाँ जाना है, sanitize कर दो हाथ. I will just get in, I'll do my thing, and I'll get done with my paper." So I think I was very calm because for the last 3 days I didn't study, and the most important part was it helped me relax. It helped me give a perspective. Like I have done a lot. It helped me think that ये सब मैंने पढ़ रखा है. I need to just focus on these things. So what I would suggest is just a holistic strategy. Ki focus on all the things you have done until now. एक दिन का rest ले लो because you have the exam day after. So like just maybe take a rest today and tomorrow, and focus on getting your sleep schedule right. Eat right. Don't eat anything very anything that can cause stomach upsets or anything. So like have something very light, khichdi, dosa, or something you like, and like just try to keep yourself fresh. Don't take any pressure on yourself because yeah, एक exam hai. It's nothing like it's the end of all the things. So you can always have another shot at it. So don't worry. ये सोच के चलो तो that's what I think.
Cool. Cavalier, what was your routine a day before the examination?
More or less it's the same. Like even I chilled out on my last day. I always tell like Netflix and chill on the last day. You can revise the notes, but more or less it should be light only. Don't start any new topic or anything. Just one thing, like you can formulate the strategy that whatever you are going to do for the next day, like you can formulate your major strategy and have some 2 to 3 backups. Like if things don't go in your way, like let's say in the DILR, you must have planned like 3 or 4 sets you are going to do. And if paper is really difficult, then you should have a backup. Like at that time, you don't have a time to think of new strategy or like moving towards the new set. So you should always have a backup. Like if things go in this way, then I will adopt this strategy. CAT is a strategic exam, and if you just attempt paper by question, then you are not going to get the marks.
True. Very true.
So that thing you can keep in mind. Apart, rest all the things are already covered.
So all these 99% dialers, they're saying that you got to take a good amount of sleep. That's number one. You can revise your notes, right? Don't freak out a lot. Don't try to push yourself a lot. Just say, like Kavela pointed out very well, it's the exam of strategy. So you got to put in your fundas in place. मैं क्या करूँगा D-Day पे, जो भी possibilities है वो थोड़ा देख लो. But again, they are like पूरा 99 का club है, and they will be telling you the same stuff. So they're not debating a lot. So जो Kavela ने कहा, Simran and Shubh, close by. So this is something that you guys need to do. Now let's start with the D-Day. So what are slots you had? Kavela, what was your slot? Was it 1?
Mine was 3, the last slot.
अच्छा, Simran and Shubh, तुम लोग का slot क्या था? Second. First, you are the guy I want to talk to. Shubh, first slot, people will freak out like anything. मतलब बाहर निकलने को डर लगता है. How did you tackle? What was your strategy first slot के लिए? कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है पेपर में? And what were you thinking in the morning?
I think in the previous video, like when we were talking about the strategy, I mentioned the same thing. I was clear कि slot and number of questions doesn't matter because
yes,
preparation हो रखी है.
मैंने actually अभी वो वीडियो डाला था कि number of questions doesn't matter. तूने same चीज बोली. Very nice. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can't alter the number of questions or the like. ठीक है, बाद वालों को पता चल जाएगा, but doesn't make them give them some upper hand over you. And सबके slot अलग-अलग calculate होने वाले हैं. And all the people in your slot have the same are the same position as you.
True.
So why are you thinking about that? Just focus on your study, your part now. Why do you have to focus on all the external parts?
Okay, fair enough. So we will start with you because it was the first slot. So when you entered, like, you know, when you started with the paper, what was your strategy for VARC, DILR, and for QA? If you can brief students about that what they should do. I think सबसे ज़्यादा important चीज़ यहाँ पे ये है. There are 99 percenters also. There are 95 percenters also. Mixed crowd है. So they want to understand कि, you know, what if my plans do not work out? जितना smoothly अगर मैं mock देता था, उतना smoothly अगर पेपर मुझसे नहीं हुआ, अगर मुझे hiccups आए, break लगा, me being a 99 percentile in mocks, right? How can I adjust my EQ on that D-day? तो ये थोड़ा सा बता देना बच्चों को.
So for the verbal wala part, I kind of the weaker part of my whole preparation was verbal VARC. Like my DILR and Quants were, I don't like to brag, but very much. So I wasn't concerned about it. I was just concerned about VARC. I knew that if I handled this section well, I could get to the other two sections. So what I did was that I went through the reading comprehensions, and I knew that philosophy and the whole globe wala RCs weren't my cup of tea. So I skipped them. I tried to focus on the factual reading comprehensions, जिसमें से answer easily निकल सकते हैं. So I first did those RCs. Then I moved to verbal ability, and then I still had time left, and I came to those RCs. And I think this was the mistake I did because if you remember, मैंने 3 बार वो not miss करके I had made the mistake in the answers. So in the last 5 minutes, I was hurrying up in the questions, so I missed the one word not, and I missed 3 mistakes, and I made 3 mistakes. So the only thing I would say is do it slowly, read everything nicely, and know what's your forte. So as I mentioned, that philosophy and globe was not my forte, so I skipped that part. If you know that is your forte, then focus on it. That is one thing I would tell about VARC. And one thing which I would like to point out is that don't sit and calculate your attempts and your marks and accuracy, because when you are done with one section, there's a tendency to just see how much I have attempted, how much I need to attempt in the next 2 sections, and to get over the line. So I don't think you need to do that, because in that moment you should just be focusing on the paper. You should just be focusing on that one question that's in front of you,
right,
and nothing else. So that would be my advice to people in any of the slots, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. Even if you know all the questions, even if you know the number of questions, the pattern, everything, just focus on that one question at that time. If you can solve it, do it. If you can't, move ahead. Just make sure you are giving your 100% on that one question.
True. Cool. I'll move to Simran. For VARC, if you can brief students about it in quick manner.
Yeah.
I know you have to go. She said, sir, mera time limit hai, and same for Shubh and Kevin also. I'm trying to wrap it up a little bit early. Go ahead with Simran.
Yeah, so same for VRC, it's the same basically. I wouldn't plan out your approach to every section. Like I said, don't attempt easy questions in the start. Don't attempt all the easy questions in the start, and don't keep all the difficult ones for the end, because in the end, like Shubh also said, he was in a hurry, so he made mistakes, right? So if he was doing para jumble, which sir has taught a lot of tricks for, he could have done that without making these mistakes he did. So keep the easy ones, few easy ones left for the last minute also. So if you're short on time, you can attempt them and also get scores. And don't attempt more questions just for the sake of attempting them. Only if you're sure about it, go ahead with it. Because VARC is, you can never be sure about it. So only if you have a certainty to an extent, attempt the question. And again, don't carry forward what you've done in VARC. However, your VARC went to other sections in like other sections ahead. That is very important because you don't know how well. So you can expect that you might be expecting VARC won't go that well for you, but it does, or the opposite. So don't carry forward both of these things. One went very good, so you're attempting a lot of questions in other subjects, other sections as well. And one went very bad, so you're attempting less in other sections. Don't do that. Forget what is done in this and then attempt the next one. And again, don't think about the number of attempts.
Okay. Kevalia.
Yes. So if you are having a slot 2 or slot 3, then people have the tendency to look out for other slots, like what was the paper pattern, what was the difficulty level and slot analysis and those kind of things. You can do that partially. Because sometimes, like in my time as well, like in 2020, there was a complete shift in the paper pattern. So it was essential as well. But do ensure that you get only required info and not be more than that. Like I asked my friend, one of my friends who had a slot 1, to call me and only tell me what is the paper pattern. Like I don't want any of his views, like whether VRC was tough or DLR was tough, or like what was the difficulty level compared to CAT 2019 or something. I told him that just tell me the paper pattern in under 5 minutes and that's all. Apart from that, don't read any news articles or like analysis from the various CAT faculties and all, because those things can be done later as well. In the examination room, whenever you enter, be an introvert for the day. Don't talk with anyone. Like people might bluff, like they might show that they are completely like genius and all, and they are going to get 100 percentile, and you might get nervous. So on the D-Day, you can take a nap, like just focus on your computer screen and that's all. Like those 1 hour is, I think, very crucial, and it's very nervousing as well. So those 1 hour, that 1 hour you have to, like 1 hour means 1 hour before the exam, that you have to manage. You can also do some breathing exercise or some meditation kind of thing just right before the exam, so that you can keep calm of yourself. Also, many a times, when you completed DILR, you are completely exhausted when you start the quant. So for that time as well, you can do some, like take a half-minute break or something, just to freshen up yourself, so that you can start your quant with a completely new energy. So yeah.
You took a nap, right, on a D-Day, like you sort of Kevalia, right? That's what kids are keep on asking. Ki matlab, I mean, again, definitely, because
Not in the exam, before the exam.
Before the before the exam, not in the exam. तो यार information से सुन लेने तो सर ने केवल सर ने nap दिया था, हम भी nap लिए थे. It's not happy, guys. Cool. So we're done with VRC. Now again, we will start with DILR. And ये तीनों god है DILR के. मतलब DILR and quant, these guys are they have nailed these two sections. So I think now is the time to listen them even more carefully. Shubh, coming back to you, buddy. 99.83 percentile in DILR, if I'm not wrong, right?
Just a second, I was connecting my headphones.
No, so I was saying 99.83 percentile in DILR, if I'm not wrong.
I don't remember, so maybe.
Swag. Fine. Let's move on. What was your strategy for DILR?
So मैं सिर्फ एक last point add करना चाहता हूँ जो केवल ये बोल रहा था about relaxing. So what I did was I made a playlist of my favorite songs or the songs that calmed me down.
Wow.
And I had my earphones with me and I just put them on and I didn't interact with anyone till the time I was out of the exam. So you can do that if you want. So like minimizing the interaction, minimizing the outside noise, everything. अगर करना हो तो. So what about DILR? I think slot 1 का DILR was सबसे easy if I have to go by all the जो लोगों ने बोल रखा है उसे. I don't know. So what I did was I had practiced like 200 to 220 sets of DILR. So I pretty much knew that any set that there is I just knew how to go about the set because I had a lot of practice in it. So पहले तो you need to read the set once, you need to see the questions, and अगर easily match हो रहे you can fill up 1 or 2 answers directly, तो कर दो. If it's not, and you think that you can get it done in 6 to 7 minutes, like if you can solve it, तो कर लो उस पे. And if not, then you can just move to the next set. Like you should give like 30 to 40 seconds to do this thing, which I'm telling, like the screening wala thing, 30 to 40 seconds at max. Because if you do this for 2 to 3 minutes, you are wasting like two questions ka time on this. So instead of doing that, so you can give 30 to 40 seconds, screen it, and select the perfect sets which you can do, which are under your control basically, and which you can score completely. So accuracy is the most important thing in DILR, because if you solve 4 sets, like 3, even if 3 sets you solve and you get everything right in the 3 sets, you are like getting, I guess, 12 right, 12 to 13 questions right.
12, getting dot 12 was 99 percentile last year. Getting 13 was 99.44, close by.
So basically you are above 99 percentile. So even if you do 3 sets and 12 questions in 40 minutes, I think that's like 3 minutes per question you get. And if you give even from a question, if you give 1 minute to reading the set, then 4 minutes for reading the set as well. So you can see how you can just divide your time. You can select the sets you have, the sets you can solve easily. And what I would suggest is, अब तक अगर practice करी होगी, तो you all definitely know which is your forte here and which is not your forte. So just focus on those sets which are your forte and just select those, and you know you will be able to solve it because तुमने कर रखा है पहले. That's my advice.
Okay. One thing I want to ask 3 of you. So VRC, you guys knew that this is something you were not that comfortable compared to DLR and Quants. तो वहां पे जो थोड़ा सा एटीट्यूड होता है, we kind of go baby step, थोड़ा सोच समझ के. So when you moved ahead with your forte like DLR, तुम तीनों ने फोड़ा है DLR, you all are 99++. तब तुम्हारा एटीट्यूड कैसे था कि what I'm gonna go for a kill, like हर एक क्वेश्चन में करूंगा, या फिर had same approach, थोड़ा सा slowly steady approach करते हैं, बाद में थोड़ा pick up कर लेते हैं? What was your thought process that point in time when you started with DLR? Was it same as VRC or it changed? Similar.
Sir, I feel your approach to different sets depends on how you've done in mocks. So if my mocks for DILR, all of them went amazingly, then I would have gone with, I have to do everything because I know it. But so that is why giving mocks was important, because you know what is your situation when the paper is tough, when it is easy, and so on. So I think that helped me figure out what I want to do in different sections. And with again DILR, I had done like 200+ sets, so I knew what kind of sets I'm comfortable with, and I had basically broadly divided the paper into LR and DI. I was more comfortable with LR compared to DI. So I did those sets first and tried to do as many as I could. But I told you, right, what happened with me in the paper. The first 10 minutes, I couldn't do anything. So I was taken aback. I looked here and there, but everybody was panicking. So I was like, okay, I'll do whatever I have in the last 30 remaining minutes. So I took question one by one. So scan the paper once, and however you categorize your sets, do that. I had a broad category of first LRDI, then topic wise, whatever topic I was comfortable with. In LR also, I did that first, and same with DI. So that is the approach I had depending on the mocks that I gave. And one thing, do not try to change your strategy in the D-Day. You're very tempted to do that in order to, increase your marks magically, but don't do that because that's not going to help.
Very valid. Again, one more question for you guys. Were you guys like, okay, so you started with DLR, like, did you had any kind of a pre-decided number in mind? You know what, I'm going to go for 4 sets or I'm going to go for 3 sets. Last year 4 पे 99 आया था, इस बार 3 पे आएगा. ऐसा कुछ था या आप बस करते गए, जितना हुआ 100% accuracy पे उतना करा, could not take a lot of chances? Like, what was your approach, Simran and Shubh? If you can answer, then Kaivalya.
So sir, for me it was like first 10 minutes are gone. Now I'll do whatever I can.
Achha.
But for some reason, like, because I was, I picked up sets that I could do, so I could do the sets very quickly because I was already a little anxious. So that anxiety here played positively for me. So I could do the sets quickly, and I ended up doing like 15 questions, out of which 13 were correct.
Perfect. So what was in your case, like you went for it कि मतलब तुझे लगा था कि इतना तो करूँगा तो 99 आ जाएगा, वो नंबर चल रहा था दिमाग में कि 99 लेके आना है, 98, 99.50, yeah, you just went.
So to be honest, like the number was not going on in my mind during the exam, because at that time मुझे लग रहा था DILR is kind of a cakewalk, because the questions were very easy. The sets were very easy, and they seem to be very easy. So at that point, I was just like, "हाँ, इसको जल्दी कर दे and get done with it." I guess I solved 19 to 20 questions. I don't remember exactly कितने थे. So I don't know कितने थे. 19, 20 करा था, I guess, and I got 16 right. So maybe I could have attempted 1 or 2 less and focused on the accuracy. But it's just that the adrenaline was so high that I thought that I could do all the questions that day because somehow positivity tha wo din. I don't know what it is. Agar वापस आप paper में बिठाओगे तो I don't think it will happen again. But it was just that it's just that positive was there that day, and I knew that these things I know I solved it before and I can get this right. So it's just like instead of going with a preconceived notion or a predetermined number, you just need to figure out while you are going with the sets. Like if the set is difficult, you know that everyone else is going to find it difficult. Then you can maybe go slow with it. But if you know it's easy, then you need to buckle up. You need to pick up the speed. You need to solve more. So, and first thing is just don't look up and see what other people are doing, because I think वो सबसे ज़्यादा panic create करता है. Because if like just your bajuwala is a very genius guy and he's not even not a bit anxious and he's solving everything, he's typing it, like he's doing the keyboard click बहुत जल्दी जल्दी, it makes you very anxious. Even the slightest of noises makes you very anxious. So just try to focus on your just itna hi ye rakho, like wo horses ko kaise lagate hain to focus just maybe just do that. Maybe just do that.
Very true. Kevin, what's your take on this?
So I had benchmarked myself with like I have to do 4 sets to get 99.5 or something, but that was a mistake on my part. I would say don't do this kind of benchmarking, like you have to do this kind of questions and this much amount of attempts, because it builds a pressure. So just go with the flow, because the question paper might come. So in my time, the question paper was really tough for me. So I could only attempt 3 sets, and I had to change my strategy as well. So don't preconceively don't build that kind of thing, like you have to do this kind of questions and all. Also, one more thing, when you are categorizing, like you have 2 kinds of questions, like 6 marks wala and 4 marks wala. In 2020, at least it was there. So don't get into the trap of that 6 marks wala thing. I got trapped and I got greedy as well, like do the set and directly get these 6 questions. But sometimes it's really tough. So do like properly judge the sets on the basis of its difficulty, not on the basis of its rewards.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Amazing. I hope you guys are you all are in sync with us. I hope you all are understanding what Kevin, Leah, Simran, and Shubh is saying, and I hope you guys are learning from them. These are all your seniors. Yes, Shubh, go ahead.
I just remembered one point. So basically, after going through the VARC part, people get lazy about reading the sets, and so what they do is if they see a long set, they skip it. And that it turns out that the longer set was easier to solve rather than the smaller set, because in the smaller sets, lesser information is given. You have to find out more number of details, you know. So instead of like getting lazy, maybe just give it a go, read the longer set, because यहाँ पे numbers है. It's not just like a VARC का जिसमें तुमको decode करने बैठना, ठीक है? It's just some sentences with numbers in it. So just read the long set. Don't get lazy, because वहाँ पे answers are more easy to come up.
Perfect, cool. Now we are done, DL are done, guys. We'll move to quants. Quants में बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों को तकलीफ होती है. Again, everybody is hoping to see AAG a lot. I am quite bullish कि यार arithmetic, algebra, geometry will form a pretty good chunk. And Kevin might not agree, but again मुझे लगता है IIM being little bit concerned about non-English, मुझे लगता है quants थोड़ा easy level पे आएगा. But again, starting with Simran first. Simran, what was your strategy towards quant on the D-Day? How did you tackle that?
So I was very comfortable with quants. Like, I'm an engineer. I like maths in general. So I was very comfortable with it from the start of my preparation itself. So for quants, since it's 30 different questions, and unlike DILR, it's not 4 or 5 sets. I did not prefer like scanning the paper because I thought it wasted my time. I went question by question, and if I landed on a question and I felt I could do it in less time, I did it. And when I landed on the question, I felt that I can't do it or it will take more time, that is the time when I skipped it. I didn't go through or scan the paper initially because it is 30 different questions or 24 different questions, and that takes a lot of time. So that was my approach. And again, whatever you think you can do fast or quickly or is comfortable for you, do that first. Keep your comment. Again, don't carry forward I did not carry forward what happened with me in DILR. I did not know, right? If I did 16 questions, I did not know 13 of them would be correct, because first 10 minutes for me was blunder. If I had carried that forward, Quants would have been again a blunder for me. It would have been shitty. But because I did not carry that forward, it was good for me. And I landed up where I am.
So you were good with all the things in the quants, arithmetic, algebra, modern maths, like everything was good. You also had some weakness in quants.
So initially, like from the start, I was good with arithmetic and modern math. And I was not good with trigonometry and mensuration wala topics. For that, I did put an extra effort. So I was not as comfortable as I was with arithmetic, but I was fairly comfortable and confident about them because the amount of efforts I put in for those particular topics as well. So I did keep them for the end, but because trigonometry and mensuration are still thoda sa kam aata hai usme se. So I was like, thoda sa isko end mein karte hain. But I did the topics I was comfortable with first, and then went to the topics I was not as comfortable with as others.
Okay, so you went chronologically. Question number 1 aata hai, easy laga, liya, fold diya. Wo scan karo. I think scanning is something I'm also not sort of a favorite of. Because मुझे लगता है स्कैनिंग में ना परसेप्शन डेवलप होता है.
Exactly.
यार यहाँ से तो ज्यादा गया, यहाँ से एंड होता कैसे ना, इंसान का दिमाग ऐसे चलता है. भले ट्रिग्नोमेट्री के 2 क्वेश्चन आए, अरिथमेटिक के 12 क्वेश्चन है, and I'm good at arithmetic, but I'm not gonna think good about arithmetic. I'm gonna cry for those 2 questions of trigno because यार वो मेरा 40 है ही नहीं, and that completely screws your EQ. तो वो नहीं करना चाहिए. So I think Kevin, he is a god quants का now. He is another level quants. Kevin, please, your inputs.
Okay, so even I followed the same strategy like Simran only, to just go by question because you don't have a time to scan the whole paper. I built a strategy kind of round 1, round 2, and round 3. Like whenever I'm starting with my question paper, if the question seems easy, then it's a round 1. I will directly attempt right away. If it seems like a medium one, like if I have seen that kind of question and I think it's a bit time consuming, maybe it will take some 3 minutes or something, then I will classify it as round 2 because it's solvable, but I just need more time. And if the question is like out of the world and it's like I have never seen this kind of question and it will take a lot amount of time for me to figure out how to solve this question, then I will classify it as round 3, and mostly it's never solvable. So yeah, true. Accordingly, I use the rough pad to note down all these things. Like before the start of the exam, I had divided my rough pad into 3 sections. Like this page is for VA, this page is for DILR, this page is for QA, and I had noted down all the question numbers like 1 to 76 or something, so that I can just write down like round 1, round 2, or round 3 in my actual CAT paper. So I had noted down all the things and accordingly moved myself from round 1 to round 2.
Okay. Fair enough. So back to you, Shubh. Anything if you want to add in towards quant?
I think the ABC approach works perfectly. Like A bucket A, bucket B, bucket C. You need to classify it accordingly, and if you can do it, just do it. That's what I would say. Because quants there can't be any more modifications to the strategy, or you can't even have a strategy.
True. So what they are saying, what we follow actually, so what I sort of put it as a nomenclature, which is like lap 1, lap 2, lap 3. Lap 1 is going to be all easy question. मतलब easy question you can decide कि यार अगर 1.5 मिनट 2 मिनट में पहले हो रहा है, ले लो, फोड़ दो उसको. एंड भले तुम बहुत ज्यादा गॉड हो एक आध टॉपिक में, बट तुमको लगता है कि यार टाइम कंज्यूमिंग होगा, जानबूझ के उसको सेकंड में डाल दो, बिकॉज़ पहला तुम्हें स्कोर ऑप्टिमाइज ही करना है, और वो जब स्कोर ऑप्टिमाइज होते रहेगा, मोटिवेशन बने रहेगा, एंड यू फील गुड एंड यू विल बी एबल टू डू इट अच्छे से. एंड व्हेन यू फील कॉन्फिडेंट, तुम्हारा तुक्का भी अच्छा हो जाता है. नाउ तुक्के से मुझे एक चीज याद आई गाइस, हाउ डिड यू डील विद द टिक-टाक क्वेश्चन? बिकॉज़ टिक-टाक का बज़ है, इट हैज नो नेगेटिव मार्किंग, एंड अगेन आई मीन लाइक इफ यू गेट इट करेक्ट, यू गेट इट करेक्ट, एंड इवन इफ यू मार्क इट एज अ तुक्का, गलत भी गया तो भी कुछ लोड नहीं है. सो व्हाट यू सजेस्ट, टीटा पे काम करना चाहिए या फिर मार्क करके मूव है, बिकॉज़ उससे अटेम्प्ट भी बढ़ता है एनीवे, नथिंग टू लूज.
So I think काम तो करना चाहिए. Any question that you attempt, you shouldn't look at the options first, because that again creates a bias. You attempt any question like a theta question and then see if your answer is matching the options. So that is how you attempt a theta question as well, with all honesty and not going for a fluke. But if you can't do it, and if you have an idea about it, you can definitely put a fluke, because it's anyway not having any negative effect on your marks. If you can't do it and you have an idea, then you can go for it with the fluke for the theta question, but you should initially try it honestly and fairly.
Okay. Cool. I think we've covered most of the things, guys. Guys, if you have any questions, you can put that up